Well, the 1976 Student Uprising, which we're talking about, did become the turning point in the fight against apartheid. It reminded the international community of the plight of black South Africans suffering at the hands of the National Party government. But the student demonstrations, as we've just been discussing, not planned overnight, very intricate, well thought out. They followed a series of political events that culminated in mass action, forever changing the course of history in our country. eNCA contributor Mpho Lakaje looks back.
The 4th of June 1948. The National Party, led by Prime Minister D.F. Malan, took over government following an election. It defeated the United Party, which had been in power since the 1930s. At the time, native Africans were banned altogether from voting. The ruling elite introduced apartheid, a system based on laws that gave the white population the upper hand politically, economically, and socially. The black majority became second-class citizens who endured township poverty.
My granny and my mom will buy for me my Sunday clothing. My Sunday clothing will be my school uniform. So what I'm wearing in church on Sunday is what I'm going to be wearing also on Monday. I won't forget walking to school with shoes that were in tatters.
But black South Africans did not sit back and accept the status quo. They launched several nationwide campaigns over the years. These included the civil disobedience of the early 1950s that saw thousands of people arrested for defying apartheid laws. The August 1956 Women's March against the past laws. Then, of course, there's the notorious 1960 Sharpeville massacre. The following decade, the National Party government made an unprecedented move, forcing black students to learn subjects in Afrikaans.
You could see the doors of learning shutting in front of your eyes. To say, how am I going to be taught in Afrikaans? That I don't even know. I'm struggling with the language, right? It is not my mother tongue, It's not even my second language.
The state had found itself being so powerful to a point unassailable, and it could do as it pleases. And I think by the time they introduced Afrikaans as a medium of instruction, they thought it was the last bet on their part to complete their superiority and control.
The new Afrikaans policy intensified the politicization of education.
As students, we probably would have thought we were immune from their total struggle. But as soon as they introduced Afrikaans as a medium of instruction, you realize that they gave us no option to consider ourselves exempted from what was going on. And then the situation boiled to a point where an action had to be taken.
That action included reaching out to the authorities.
That's when I took the initiative, therefore, to say, what about communicating, with the then Minister of Bantu Education, to say, can you explain, what are you trying to achieve? But he decides to send the police to come and arrest me.
Realizing the state wasn't keen on discussing anything, student leaders met at this Orlando East venue on the 13th of June 1976 and decided to go ahead with a mass demonstration. The 16th of June arrived. From Zola, Naledi, Tladi, Mufulo to Orlando, students came out in numbers that surprised organizers themselves. The foot traffic led to Orlando Stadium, where a memorandum of demands was to be delivered to government officials. But the police arrived, violence broke out, and dozens of students lost their lives. The march became deadly, but it gave people around the world a reason to rally against racial segregation in South Africa. Mpho Lakaje, Johannesburg.